Let's talk about how some old boys are getting into tremendous shape after years of being, well, generally speaking, it's not like Matt Damon or Ray Fiennes were ever in, awful shape, but ahead of their roles in the Odyssey. I didn't know that Ray Fiennes was going to be in the Odyssey, but I guess that's another reason to be. This is a movie that I am somewhat looking forward to, mostly because it's Christopher Nolan and he's reliable, even though he ended up making the film that made me stop going to the theaters full stop in The Dark Knight Rises. But I'm looking forward to the Odyssey. Okay, and then I do like Matt Damon, even though I can't really point to like a specific performance of his that has really, made me a Matt Damon fan. In general, I am, okay? But especially, if these guys getting into ridiculous shape at 62 and 54, Fiennes and Damon respectively, got to give it up for them, okay? Them putting in the work on this one. I don't think Zendaya is going to be out there crunching it out on the shores to get in perfect shape, but Hollywood titans Ray Fiennes and Matt Damon have undergone intense physical transformations to play famous Greek warrior Odysseus, okay? Fiennes' gritty portrayal of Uberto Pansini's, The Return, debuted in December, while Damon is currently filming Christopher Nolan's action-packed version of The Odyssey. Okay, so Fiennes is not going to be in The Odyssey. Oh, that kind of sucks. Pictures of the two of them looking jacked recently went viral. Given the buff stars are hardly spring chickens, making their bods all the more impressive. Yeah, and Fiennes, he looks like he could beat up a guy half his age, and I don't think Matt Damon's ever been in that good of a shape, even, with his Bourne movies under his belt, and hell, looking like that, like you're not really going to need a belt. For his part, Fiennes embraced the rigorous 5-month training regimen and probably the copious amount of testosterone that was getting pumped into his system, telling his trainer, Dan Aviselkai, that he wanted to look like a bit of old rope. There's no gym in ancient Greece, Pasolini told The Independent last month. To achieve this lean, weathered physique, Fiennes followed a strict regimen that began at 5:30 a.m., 6 days a week, and incorporated running, weight training, and even ballet. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Okay, getting good body positioning. Yeah, okay. At that age, injury prevention is everything. Aviselkai, told the UK, The Times, that you can train a 60-year-old like... you can't train a 60-year-old like you would a 20-year-old. Their muscles, bones, and joints are different. I kept Rafe's workouts strict and safe. Form is everything. Well, that should be the same way that you're training as a 20-year-old, okay? Because if you don't develop good techniques, you're going to end up developing overuse injuries, and then, just end up long-term messing up your body worse than anything. Training began 2.5 months before they started filming in Corfu, Greece, reducing Fiennes' weight from 176 pounds to 160 by day one of shooting. Hey, that's pretty fantastic. Ambrosia, food of the gods, or protein shakes, food for the fit. Okay. Fiennes adhered to a strict diet of protein-rich meals that included plenty of lean meat, fish, Greek yogurt, and protein shakes, and some of the meals cooked by Aviselkai, the trainer himself. Go with that one. The actor also completely eliminated bread, desserts, and alcohol. Wow, imagine that. Just another adherent to a paleogenic, ketogenic, Mediterranean-style diet. Big shock. Occasionally, I would would surprise Rafe with our favorite Italian gelato. Other days, Fiennes would abstain from water the night before and the day of shooting to attain the frayed appearance. Well, yeah, exactly. Just being as drained out as possible. Totally makes sense. But you have to have a good framework underneath, which obviously there he is, okay? And you get the old guys off the screen there. What's perhaps even more impressive than his ripped physique is the fact that Fiennes has largely continued his fitness and diet regimen through the filming, though the filming has long ended, sharing photos and videos on his X account. Now, he feels great, the trainer told The Times. He has more energy, no joint pain, and he's even stronger than ever. He can do 17 pull-ups, 78 press-ups in a row, and he's benching 143 pounds at 62. That's incredible. Yeah, man, that's fantastic stuff, and that is something that just about every 60-year-old can do. Guess what? It's not beyond you. You don't need to have extreme and personalized training regimens to achieve this. Obviously, they're leaving out, some of the medical enhancements that Hollywood actors are known to partake when they're, undergoing amazing physical transformations. But in general, if you just eat good and cut out the desserts and you just put in a little bit of effort, you might not get to this, golden god physique, but you're going to have something that is considerably better than where you're at right now. Remember that with all the diet and fitness advice, there's no one size fits all. Everyone is different and has different needs. Exactly. That's good advice from that trainer right there. for people over the age of 50 or 60, or people with mobility issues or degenerative issues with bones that come with age. Running on a treadmill is safer than running outside because it gives you a bit of suspension. So yeah, if you need something that's a bit more structured, and obviously machines at that age, especially if you're not familiar with, free weights and the way that things, should properly go with resistance training, I always start beginners out on machines because they just, hey man, once you're set up properly, they pretty much constrain you to having good form, and once you properly learn that form, then you can start using free weights, then you can start using cables. But between calisthenics and machines, you're going to be totally set up, okay? What about Matt Damon right here, okay? What about 54-year-old Matt Damon, okay? To get in insanely good shape at the age of 50 or 45 at the time, Damon did 100 sit-ups, 300 push-ups, 50 squats, and 50 squat jumps daily for the, role of Jason Bourne back in the cut. He loves challenges, Walsh told Men's Health, his trainer, Jason Walsh. And got to the point where we were doing 100 pull-ups 2 or 3 times a week. We'd see how many sets it takes to get to 100. Once you lose some of that excess weight, pull-ups get a lot easier. And he's doing doing 30-some pull-ups per set. Good for him, man. That's pretty fantastic. He also performed pull-ups with 35 pounds strapped to his waist and single leg squats with 125-pound dumbbells in each hand. That's pretty fantastic. To enhance his conditioning, Damon incorporates sprints, the Versa climber machine, and long-distance runs, including through the streets of Dunhuang in northwestern China. People would look at us like, what the hell is going on? There were exercises they avoided doing, like barbell back squats and heavy deadlifts, to avoid injury at his age. Yeah, back squats like that, I mean, it's kind of vanity stuff, and especially deadlifts. Like, you can take it from power lifters. Unless you're just looking to train your deadlift, there's no real reason to be doing that type of stuff. It's just basically an injury creating exercise. That's the way it is, man. My biggest worry was breaking him. Keeping him injury free for 2 straight years doing action films was the biggest accomplishment. Yeah, good on this trainer right there, man. So nutrition wise, Damon's chef provides around 2,000 calories per day per shooting. Like Fiennes, his water intake was strategically reduced to highlight muscle definition before specific scenes, a technique that is often used during shirtless sequences. And yeah, whenever you see somebody pose for a magazine, normally they're just absolutely drained of every type of liquid in their body, and it's another common practice like weight cutting and any types of combat sports that they have defined weight classes. It's just it's an old tested technique to just look to make you look as ripped as humanly possible. In a recent interview with ET, Ben Affleck joked about the viral photos of shirtless Damon in Favignana, Italy, saying, "Look at my man trying to act like we don't know that they were taking this picture. You went out there and flexed. Somebody told him the paparazzi was out there. I have respect for it. It's a lot of hard work." Affleck added, "It doesn't get any easier when you have the very long gray beard." But yeah, like Ben Affleck was in pretty damn good shape when he was doing, those stupid Zack Snyder Batman movies, but the old guys are out there getting it done. Meanwhile, chicks of that age are just too busy complaining about all of their missed career opportunities and lamenting all the producers that they yacked off in back rooms or how they splayed it wide open on the casting couch. Matt Damon, Ray Fiennes, and even Ben Affleck's crazy old ass after he wifed up stupid Jennifer Lopez, they're out there getting after it. So guess what? What's your goddamn excuse? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.